There you go. Up close and personal for you guys that like big fish. That's quite a mouth right there. I don't care who you're looking at. Shoot. I'm just a big kid at heart. Subscribe to the channel. This thing is all about the great outdoors here in the state of Maine. I primarily fish for lake trout and salmon, stuff like that. But I'm still a kid at heart, so catching a few of these in the course of a winter sure brings back the love of ice fishing and all of that, and the reason that I am out here doing this so often. So you guys have a great day. Good morning. My name is Tom. Get yourself a cup of coffee. We're going to talk about cabins today. I have got a playlist going with this topic. The name of these videos is Let's Talk Cabin, and this is Let's Talk Cabin number 5. And today we're going to talk about the foundation. So if you want to go back, and now I've started this series, and it's just something I'm going to keep going. Every once in a while, I'm going to throw out a video here. I am a retired builder here in the state of Maine, so I am trying to accumulate in one playlist, maybe not everything that I know about cabins, but as much as I can remember. Let's put it that way. I retired approximately, oh boy, about maybe 6 years ago now. I lose track of time. Too much fishing, too much hunting, and still too much to do in the course of a day. But anyways, I built cabins all over the state of Maine. I repaired them, I worked on them, I rebuilt them, I remodeled them. You name it, when it comes to a cabin, I've done it. So today I want to talk about foundations. And when I talk about foundations on a cabin, I'm not necessarily talking about what you're accustomed to in a home. As far as you can put in a full foundation, you can put in a root cellar, you can put in all kinds of stuff when it comes to under the cabin. But there's certain things in the state of Maine that I firmly recommend against. I'm doing the video, we're sitting in a fish house, and I'm looking behind you out through the window. I got 5 traps. So we might need to interrupt this video if we get a flag. And I got high hopes. Got big bait, so big bait means big fish. Primarily when I'm talking about a foundation, and this whole series is geared around small cabins. Small hunting cabins, even a small home, you know. That's just my recommendation in the state, is a small cabin. And all the other videos will explain why I like a small cabin. Easy to heat, low taxes, the list goes on and on. Like I said, go back and check out. It would be, video number 4 was about size and all of that. So today is going to be foundations. I got a flag! Oh! If you don't think that's a bass and a half. Oh, goodness. Caught him on that right there. That's a shiner. I cut off his tail. Couple fins so he wouldn't swim that great. Look at that fish. That is some fish nuggets. Especially now, I'm going to go from the beginning. What I'm trying to figure out is how we're going to head this thing off. You know, because when you come to foundation, as the list goes on and on and on. let's say if you want a regular foundation, perfect. If you got the money, if you got the equipment, if your equipment can get into where your cabin is, that's the Cadillac. If you can put in a 7-foot foundation and the ground is all good, that's the Cadillac. Most of the cabins that I worked on, and I want to say all of them. None. I don't think any cabin that I ever worked on was sitting on a foundation. If it was some kind of crappy foundation, and we can get into that. But I can't remember any of it. Outside, when they start getting a foundation on them, then they start becoming a full-time home. So that's why I'm saying I don't believe there was a cabin out there that I worked on. And most of my cabins I worked on was quite a ways back in the woods. And a lot of that stuff, especially cabins that you're remodeling or refurbishing, was done 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 40 years ago. And that kind of stuff just wasn't done. It might be done more nowadays than it was 40 years ago, but that stuff just wasn't done back then. So, but most of the cabins that I built, if not all of them, I always push is the 24-inch round cement pad. Every 8 feet down a cabin. And I don't care if that cabin is 30 by 40 or 12 by, the 12 footer because I had to bring them in on 6. I got a cabin at the log cabin. Both cabins are setting on 24-inch round cement pads. One building is 15 by 18, and the other one is 12 feet by 16 feet. Same deal. I've got every 8 feet going down both sides of the cabin is a 24-inch round cement pad setting on a good gravel pad. I think where a lot of people make a huge mistake in this state when they go placing their cabin is to just throw the pads on the ground and start building. Can that be done? It absolutely can be done. I've done it. Beaver Creek, if you look through my archives, Beaver Creek is I put 4. That's only 12 feet. So I can't remember. I did 4 pads. I got 2 left over, and I'm not going to put them in because the way it worked out, it was better to not have them. But I got 4 pads, 1 on each corner. It's 8 feet by 12 feet, so it'll be very easy to jack. So I'm really not that concerned with that cabin. The rustic log cabin that you see in my videos, I jacked that up when I bought it. It was sitting flat on the ground. I jacked it up. I put the 24-inch pads under there, one every 8 feet down through there. I don't have any of the center of the cabin because that became an issue. So my pads run down both sides of the cabin. And I got 4 pads on each side. I have not touched that cabin in 10 years when I put them pads under there. It sets nice. It just doesn't act up. The pads don't act up. The cabin doesn't act up. So that's great. The other cabin that I built for my daughter that is 12 by 16, that one is setting on, 6 pads. Because it's 16, one every 8 feet. So same deal there. I got 3 pads down each side, 24-inch pads. That cabin sits nice. Why does that cabin sits better than the rustic log cabin? The rustic log cabin was already there when I bought it. I had to jack it up, so the cabin was there. Luckily, there's a little bit of gravel under it. When the old owners built it, they just threw the pads on the ground, and that's where they built it. Slide over 50 feet, and it's just pure gravel. It's a great location. That's why I built the cabin on that particular piece of ground up at the rustic log cabin, because it's on good, clean gravel, which that is the key for a cabin to sit still. If you're getting ready to build a cabin, get a grounds guy in there ahead of time. You're going to put in your driveway anyways. Have him push out. Unless you get in there and you got good gravel, now you're all set. But most of the times, that's not the case. Get in there, have him push the gravel out, push the topsoil out of the way. I'm just checking my flags. Have him push the topsoil out of the way. And have them bring in 2 feet of good, clean gravel. 2 feet. I promise you, if you put your cabin on 2 feet of good, clean gravel, and then bring in the 24-inch round cement pads, your cabin will not move. That is the best thing I've ever seen on cabins, is that 2 feet of good clean gravel. Like I said, then you put your 24-inch round cement pad, you come up with a 6x6 pressure-treated post, and then you set all that on a pressure-treated 6x6 sill, and then start building your cabin from there. You've got a nice thing to jack on when you do need to. I recommend adjusting the cabin every 5 years. Very easy to do in a 5-year window. You get under there with a few jacks, jack it up. It's quick, it's simple, it's painless, and then you just catch it before things get really bad. Most people wait until it gets really bad, and then it's expensive. So that's why I say get in there every 5 years, tweak it a little bit, and then you're good to go. So we're on to what's not a good thing. I'm trying to keep these videos at around 10 minutes. We're at 9. So we're going to sneak this one in. The reason I'm keeping them at 10 minutes or so is because it's too much information to put out there in one setting, and people won't watch it. You know, I've made a lot of videos now. They just won't watch it, so that's why I'm keeping these short and sweet. One of the things don't use in this state, ever. I don't care what kind of ground you've got. Stay away from it. Avoid it like the plague. Cinder blocks. Do not put in a cinder block foundation in the state of Maine. Period. I'm gonna go in next week. I'm gonna cut this off at 10 or 12 minutes, and then we're gonna get into foundation work. Is bigger than a 10-minute video. All right. Don't use cinder blocks. Even though it's a cheap way to go, you can probably do it yourself, and you think you can put in a nice basement under a cabin. Don't do it. In the state of Maine, we have frost. Frost is a problem. Frost is a problem for a regular cement wall, but it's also a problem, especially for cinder blocks. They will leak, they will freeze, they will push. I can't tell you how many cabins that I had to go under and literally take out cinder block walls and put something else in. So, you know, I'm going to wrap it up right here. And like I said, we'll do a part 2 of foundations. But right now, this is where I want to stop with this video. So, hey, have yourself a cup of coffee with me. Leave a terrible comment saying I should have gone on. But, you know, no sense in building these videos if they don't get watched. So, good coffee, good company, and I will see you next week.